Hi guys, welcome to another vlog. So as promised yesterday, I'm going to talk about this very interesting business school with you guys today. So, whenever I talk to students, potential MBA applicants, especially from places like India, the one big concern they have with studying abroad is the fees. I mean, when you convert it into the local currency, it becomes very, very expensive for a lot of applicants. So scholarships is something people keep looking for, people keep hunting for. So what if I told you there is this particular school that guarantees 100% scholarship to all the students who get admitted to its MBA class? So you don't have to apply for the scholarship, you don't have to beg for it, request for it. It is guaranteed. So the only thing you need is the admission. Once you are admitted, no tuition fees, zero tuition fees basically. This is something unheard of. I think it was a very brave move and a very disruptive move on the part of the school. So I'm talking about the W.P. Carey School of Business at the Arizona State University, ASU. Because last year, what Carey did is, last year I think in October, Carey made an announcement that surprised everybody in the B school market, if you will, including other business schools, of course. And the announcement was that there won't be any tuition fees charged from any student. Before last year, if you ask me, Carey was, in terms of ranking, around 35, 40th in the rankings. It had a small MBA batch, around 70 students or thereabouts. A very average school. I mean, I would think of it as a safe school, a very safe school. The acceptance would be around, I think, 30-35%. However, last year, they came up with this announcement and they also increased the batch size. So they increased the batch size from 80 to, I think, around 120 or thereabouts, making this entire arrangement a part of something that they, I think, call forward focus, which is basically their pay it forward philosophy. So what they're saying is that you study for free, so then later on in your career, in your life, you can sponsor somebody's education, or you can help others who are in need of help in whatever way, help them getting internships, getting jobs, whatever it is. But again, this is also something that they don't want from you in writing, so you're not committing to anything. So to say it again, you don't pay any tuition fees. You'll only be paying your living expenses, whatever that amounts to. And the tuition fees that Carey, by the way, for international students is around $90,000 USD for the 2-year program. So that's a huge amount of saving, if you ask me. Now, thanks to this particular development, the batch that joined Carey this year, I mean the people who applied last year and who will be joining now, who just joined, I think, is the best batch that Carey has ever had. So as I said, the number of students has increased from 80 to around 120. So the average GMAT has gone up to around 680, I think. The GPA has gone up, the average GPA. So earlier, I think international applicants you would have from 10 countries maybe. I think this batch has around 25 countries represented. The most important thing, the acceptance rate, which used to be in the 30%. Carey is now the 4th most selective school in the US. I think the only ones above Carey are Harvard, Stanford, and I think Haas. Haas is the 3rd one. So Carey's acceptance right now, I think, would be around 14 or 15% thereabouts, because they have limited seats. And thanks to this offer, this very generous offer, they had a huge number of applicants applying to them last year. So it wouldn't be a good idea to think of Carey as a safe school, because it will be very, very competitive. I expect the number of applicants to increase even more this year, because now more and more people are aware of it. The applicants will actually increase the number of applicants. So it's hardly a safe school anymore. But definitely, if you have a strong profile, it's a school that you want to look at. Also because they have completely revised their curriculum. Again, they're calling it, something on the lines of forward-focused curriculum or something. It's a revamped curriculum, and the school understands that it is getting a lot of applicants, or the kind of applicants who wouldn't have applied to Carey earlier. So to meet their requirements, they are, making other changes in the curriculum, maybe in the faculty, in the opportunities available to students, all of that. So yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting place right now, because in rankings it will be lower down, but in terms of the batch profile, the acceptance rate, it will be very high up. And I expect it to climb up in rankings also. I think next year when you see the new rankings published, Kerry should be able to break into the top 25. And they have continued. So, I mean, last year a lot of people thought that this was just a marketing gimmick, but they have continued with this strategy for this year also. So no tuition fees for any of the admitted MBA students. So it's definitely a school that you want to look at. The deadlines for Kerry, incidentally, are October 3rd. That's the early decision. It's always a good idea to apply early. So October 3rd is the first round. I think November 28th is the second round. And the final round for international applicants would be February 1st. Yeah, the 1st of Feb. Applicants from the US can of course apply, I think, till March, the last round. But if you are an international applicant, I think Feb 1st is the last deadline, but apply as early as you can. I think the early decision is what you should target, 3rd October. And the application of Kerry, I think, is pretty simple. You have some short questions, very, very short ones. You have one typical MBA question, I think a 500-word question asking you about why MBA, why now, the typical question. And then you will have that question asking you for any additional information. So it's a very simple application, 2 letters of recommendation that you need. So see if you guys can submit your application in round 1, or at least do some research on the school. It's definitely a school you want to look at. One last thing, don't confuse the Kerry I'm talking about with another Kerry, which is the business school at Johns Hopkins University. The school I'm talking about is WP Kerry School of Business at the Arizona State University. So do check it out. Yeah. I'll speak about one more thing in today's vlog, and this is again related to your application. I basically want to give you one tip, or one thing to keep in mind before you submit your application, because this is something that students ignore at times, and then they get rejected from a lot of schools that they apply to. So that thing to keep in mind is, a lot of the time, in your profile, in your application, through your essays, there might be certain situations or circumstances that need to be explained. That basically create a question in the AdCom's head. To give you an example, there might be a gap in employment of a few months or a year, whatever it is, but there might be a gap. It's possible that in your education in a particular year, your ACADS really dipped big time. It's possible that your GMAT score is unbalanced. Maybe the verbal is very high, quant is very low, whatever it is. I mean, it's possible, that you have any of these mitigating circumstances. So then it is very important that you address these questions in your application. See, a lot of the time what students do is they gloss over these details, hoping that the AdCom will not notice this or they will ignore this. That never happens. The AdCom ignores nothing. They will always notice it. What they will not do is they will not ask you to explain this. I mean, they will just reject your application. Don't expect the AdCom to mail you asking, okay, why haven't you explained this gap in employment? Please send us an explanation of this. Or how do you explain your unbalanced GMAT score? Nobody's going to ask you all this. I mean, in a very rare case, they may ask you, but in that case, they must really love your profile. But that's very, very unusual. Normally, they will simply, if they have any unanswered question in their head, the AdCom will simply reject your application. Because they have so many other applicants, why will they bother, with something that you haven't bothered to explain? So, what you should do is, of course, one, you yourself will be able to figure out what these mitigating circumstances are that need to be explained. Sometimes, we tend to overlook things. So what you must do is, if you're working with a counselor, the counselor, of course, will be able to notice these things. Otherwise, what you do is, you show your essays to a lot of people. I mean, at least 5 people, if you ask me. People who know you, people who you think have good English, different kinds of people. And don't just send them the essay, send them your entire, application packet along with the resume. So they know exactly, what your profile is, overall profile. And then you ask them 2 questions. The first is the application a good representation of your personality? Is your personality basically coming out through the application, the essays, all the information that is there? That's the first question you want to ask them. The second question you want to ask them is, do they notice any inconsistencies in the application? Any gaps, anything that raises questions or doubts or suspicion in their head? Because if they do notice such things, You must address them, and wherever you address them, you will address them in that optional essay. Every school will give you an optional essay at the end asking for additional information. That is basically to address these mitigating circumstances. So it's very important not to leave any unanswered questions in your application. Just make sure of that. So I think that should be it for today's vlog. In tomorrow's vlog, I think I'll do a quick Q&A. I've been getting a lot of mails with a lot of questions from students. So I'll just pick up a few of those questions and I'll address them in tomorrow's vlog. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a nice day.